Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Welcome back.
He's doing it. Okay, I didn't know you were doing it or not.
I, yeah,
Might
well,
as well shut
I'm
down the
on,
entire
so might
stream.
as well.
Might as well just shut
Yeah,
down the
right.
entire stream.
All right, guys. So we're back. Welcome to another episode of Moonshiners Racing, presented by Depot Street Sports. I'm your host, Michael Rizzo, joined with Zachary Kendall and Aiden Fordney. I didn't know if I was going to make it on tonight or not. I'm out here in Concord, North Carolina, at an event, Mustang Week, for work, but able to get on just in time. So, guys, how we doing?
I'm doing really well, Larry. It's Ryan Blaney victory week for me. So where I'm always in a good mood. Like for now on, and no matter what happens, the rest of the week, everything is 100% okay, and everything's 1,000% swell. I could wreck my truck and drive it off a cliff, and I could be in the hospital, but I wouldn't care because Ryan Blaney won a race. So I'm just thrilled. I'm always am.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Kind of a botched intro. I didn't know if you wanted me to do it or you, but anyways, that's besides the point. I'm doing well. Been working, obviously. Been working now for a solid 2 weeks. Pretty easy, pretty going. Easy going. And honestly, surprise, surprise. Honestly, yeah, Aiden was hyping up New Hampshire. It was honestly not that bad. So, um, yeah, we're just going to be discussing. I guess we're just going to be discussing on this show and whatever else, obviously, that we have decided to talk about on here. But Rizzo, I'm glad to see that you're actually able to join us.
Yeah, I didn't know for sure if I was gonna make it or not. I know I texted you guys around 2, 3 o'clock or something like that. I don't know. I wasn't able to make the show last night. Thought I was gonna be able to, but we drove from Northwest Indiana all the way down here. A long ass drive, and we're hauling some stuff. So, but we made it finally on. But yeah, I first want to before we get into the show. Uh, yeah, Aiden has been raving about New Hampshire, talking about how good it is, how much he likes it. Zachary and I just continue to give him crap for it. We're like, this track sucks. But this past weekend, they gave us a pretty darn good race, pretty solid race. I want to say it got an 84% on the Gluck poll. I could be wrong, but last I checked, it was 84%. And honestly, I think that's a pretty respectable score. I voted that it was a good race. I'm sure all you guys. I mean, we heard Zachary said it was a good race. Obviously, we know Aiden said it's a good race because I mean his guy won. But it's the New Hampshire put on a great show. Ryan Blaney obviously gets the win, holds off my driver there, Bubba Wallace there from a late charge between the two tires and the four tires. He drove it deep in turn three with two to go, overdrove the corner, and then from that point he had a flat spot and just had a vibration. The last lap and a half couldn't catch up, but still held on to a second place. But guys, talk about Ryan Blaney and New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Oh, you guys know I can talk about those two things all day if I had to. New Hampshire once again, guys. Remember, all right. I am always correct. All right. I am always right. All right. Okay. I'm going to challenge you all. Go back. When have I had a bad take on here?
I mean,
Yeah.
you've had a couple here or there, but a lot of the main
Yeah.
ones you have are pretty good. So
Exactly. So, away from all the screaming and ranting and shit talking, I actually do know what I'm talking about sometimes when I want to. Uh, and I was, again, right about New Hampshire, like I always am about New Hampshire. You guys finally got to see its greatness. All right. We already had an interesting start with the rain. Uh, Carson Hocevar spun out before the race even began. That was cool. Tyler Reddick spun out on lap one, the leader, and then like SVG was just dominating out of nowhere, and then the dries came on, and then we had the tire strategy. Ryan Blaney winning off a two-tire call. We had before that we had Bubba Wallace, Ryan Priest, and Josh Berry giving us absolute cinema with their fight for the lead there for a little bit. We had tempers flaring. Uh, we had beefs. We had Byron and getting wrecked out after his tire came off. With this race had everything. This race was great. We had just in general good green flag racing. All right, and we had a good ass winner. We had a great winner in my opinion. Uh, I know I'm a Blaney fanboy or whatever you want to call me at this point. I think these two also agree they don't hate a Ryan Blaney win. So like, yeah, it was a great weekend. It was 100% an awesome weekend.
Yeah. Usually, obviously, when you see a Blaney win, it's obviously deserved because he's usually one of the best cars out there, hands down. And sure enough, this past weekend, he surely was one of them. Honestly, the guy I picked, Josh Berry, was probably the other one, in all honesty. But, you know, Blaney and his team, yes, Penske is really good on these tracks, obviously. And yes, Blaney is obviously a great driver, but you still got to execute throughout the entire race. And besides, at one point when his crew kind of fumbled the bag a little bit, knocked him all the way back to 14th place at one point, and charged through the field and got into Hamlin a little bit. That was good to see. Um, he was up front all day long, and there at the end, there he just had to try and maintain the gap. I asked Aiden before this show started. I said, "Were you ever nervous that Bubba was going to catch him?" He said, "No, honestly." And I mean, sure, could you see it like him in the mirror, obviously getting a little bit closer and closer? I mean, yes, but at the end of the day, I feel like Blaney had the better car than Bubba. I really do. And, it all, when it comes down to it, it all comes down to lap traffic and how you manage it and how you get through it the best. And Blaney's pretty good at getting through it, even though he does criticize the lap traffic, obviously, pretty heavily on his radio week in, week out. That's pretty entertaining to hear. He obviously never got let Bubba get more than 3/10 close to him. Obviously, Bubba sent it into that one corner. I didn't think he needed to do that, but he did, and obviously that costed him, honestly, coming to that white flag. So all in all, yeah, it was a pretty solid race, pretty entertaining. I can't lie. Again, was it the race of the year? No, that belongs to Atlanta, which coincidentally is the other Blaney win as well. Um, but all and be told, it went through this had everything you'd probably want out of a NASCAR race, especially on a track like this. Because what do you know? We actually got to see a bump and run happen. Josh Berry and Bubba Wallace, obviously there for a good while there. You know, I had this obviously in the outline. I'm not sure if Rizzo was going to get to it or not, so I'll get to it right now. Is that the only thing I would like be changed is that we've been running these wet tires on these type of tracks for like 2 years now. I think it's about time that NASCAR lets these teams handle their strategy, whether they want to put on the wets or the slicks, not have a mandatory caution to where you have to put on a certain set of tires for everybody in the field. And that's what NASCAR's been doing. Like, these teams are smart enough, honestly. They have enough data out there to really help decide if they want to add, the slicks back on or keep the wets. I'm sure. I mean, there's always a danger that maybe that not every team is going to be on the same set of tires. But guess what? That's strategy. That's intriguing to watch if it does happen. I mean, SVG was like way out there, obviously, because he was killing everybody on the wet track. And as soon as the track got dry, obviously he went backwards. So I just find that kind of compelling if they actually did make the strategy of the wet tires versus the slicks, in the more of the team's hands. But all in all, it was a pretty solid race. I can't lie. It was probably like a 7.5 out of 10, honestly, in my opinion. And it's all you could want, honestly, out of a NASCAR race.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything you could want out of a NASCAR race, especially at New Hampshire. It gave us everything and more. And then to go back to what you were talking about, the race between Bubba and Josh Berry, the bump and run, that was awesome. The fact that Josh gave him a bump and Ron get the lead, and then Bubba raced him respectfully. Didn't turn him like we've seen some guys do. Didn't aggressively do anything. Just worked his way back around him, back and forth. You had Ryan Priest there as well. Just fantastic racing all around. Some this weekend I kind of grew to appreciate at New Hampshire was the way that you could drive different lines at that racetrack. Like you could, it's all a different approach to the corner. You could drive it in deep, hit the brakes hard, drive it in deep, kind of diamond it off, let the cars run up the center, and then arc it down on the exit, and we'll get the power down, get a good exit. Or you can really, take it easy on the inside, wrap the bottom. Obviously, I think what we saw was that Ryan Blaney could wrap the bottom better than anyone did all day. That's how he got around Bubba a couple times. Uh, Josh Berry, I feel like he was great with whatever line he decided to do, whether it was wrapping the bottom or diving it off the corner. He was really good at it. Bubba, he was mainly doing the diamond right there, but overall, I thought it was fantastic. You could, like I said, you could see who was running what line and all that fun stuff. And then yeah, the tires. Aiden, I want to hear your thoughts on the tire situation too. I know Zachary gave his opinion, but between the wets and the dry and the slicks, what do you think NASCAR should do? Do you think it should be up to them, or since this is at like an oval, should it be more defined by NASCAR and rather than the teams going up for it?
Uh, I do also want to say this. Everyone praising New Hampshire Motor Speedway. No New Hampshire Motor Speedway hater, Eric Estep, said that this was one of the best races of the season so far. I do want to point that out too. But back to the tire situation. I understand why NASCAR did it. I understand why NASCAR was doing it, especially when we just started using the wet tires. Like, you got to think the wet tires are still like new to NASCAR. So I understand why they did that for the first couple races. Like, okay, now everyone puts slicks on. I do get that, but I feel like all the drivers, all the teams have enough experience with both the wet weather tires and the slicks. And I think they do have the ability to call for themselves when they want the wets off and the dries on. Now, with that being said, I want to see NASCAR have a say in a way where they can be like, okay, now it's safe to put slicks on if you want. Because, like, I feel like if you green flag out in the air and a driver comes in, puts slicks on and 5 laps in, and the track is still drenched and he just slides everywhere and just wrecks it. I do agree that NASCAR should have a point where it's like, okay, now you're good. Now put slicks on. So I want a little bit of NASCAR's intervening in this, just not the final hearsay on whether or not to put those tires on. Like I said, I feel like the teams and drivers now have enough experiences on both tires, with both tires, to make that call themselves.
For me, my thought is I feel like NASCAR doesn't want to make the same mistake they made a couple years ago at this exact same track in New Hampshire. Forgot the exact year, but I feel like you guys might remember where
2021.
they 2021, yeah, they had him go out there. It was too wet and they crashed. The leaders crashed. I forgot, I think it was Martin Truex and Kyle Busch. They crashed. Two of the fastest cars all weekend wrecked out with a lot of accidents. Um, and then was it the same year where they had the issue with the wet rain at Daytona? Right? Wasn't it? Yeah. Like when it comes to weather, I feel like NASCAR saw how bad it was in 2021. And I remember when we had our show back in college, we were ripping on NASCAR for that situation. And I feel like they just don't want to make that same mistake where they leave it up to the teams and you have a guy that's aggressive like Carson Hocevar and he goes out there and makes himself
Nope.
look like an idiot.
Real quick, note how he said back when we were in college. Nah, dog. Back when you were in college.
Really? Were
You
you guys not in college with me at that point?
I was a junior in high school.
Shoot, man. Then it must have just been me on that show.
yeah, it was just you because I was a senior. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, shoot. Oh wow. Yeah, it was just me ripping NASCAR on that show then. I think I could go back and watch it. But well yeah, I feel like NASCAR, if they were to give it up to the teams, like I feel like they would tell them, hey, at this point, you guys could switch it. You guys make the decision on when you want to. Like, then do something over the radio where it's like, all right, you guys are clear to pit, but they don't throw a caution for it. It's not a competition caution. It's a competitive like green flag cycle, and who's going to be the first one on it. I feel like if NASCAR were to do it, that's the only chance to do it because they would prefer to see the track at what conditions it is. And I feel like it kind of meets both ways. It puts it into the teams, but NASCAR still makes the call on when. Like, all right, now is the first chance, and maybe we see like a everyone go to the pit road that next lap, but I don't know. It kind of just would depend on who's where on the track, you know. Anyway, let's move on and talk about the Truck Series. Lane Riggs wins yet again. Guys, thoughts on Lane Riggs getting yet another win?
Uh, he did it. Woo, Lane Riggs, another win. Yay. Yay. He's making this really boring. Uh you know, it's funny, like I kind of just said that, and it's like, well, Corey Heim was kind of doing the same thing last year in trucks to him. Uh but now it's his turn to dominate and his turn to be definitely the championship favorite. Um I'd say, which next topic is going to be how their truck series championship is already set. I just want to note I picked Justin Haley to win the championship, and he's not even in the chase. So that goes to show how much I know. Damn it. I started this show by saying that I'm always right about everything. I never have a wrong take. I picked my truck champion isn't even competing for a championship. Damn it. Just realized that. Uh, we all need to. I need to go back and check out my Truck Series chase list and see who I got right and who I got wrong, and definitely check that out. But yeah, congrats to Lane Riggs. Definitely the championship favorite. You look at really all three series. You kind of we definitely see like a by far championship favorite. I mean, yes, you got Lane Riggs with Caden Honeycutt being a possible second. Then you got Justin Allgaier in the O'Reilly series. We are almost through an entire season. I still almost said Xfinity series. Uh, and then we also got, I'd argue Denny Hamlin's probably the championship favorite, though Ryan Blaney and Ty Gibbs, and even Tyler Reddick, if he gets hot again, I could see win the championship. So yeah, that's really all I got for Lane Riggs.
You know, when I like, because I didn't actually end up getting to watch this race because I went, go know and behold, I was working that day as well. Um, I went back and watched, and honestly, this wasn't really like a Lane Riggs dominant performance like it was at IRP. It was just a front row dominance as we've seen throughout the entire year so far. Is on these type of tracks, front row just has a killer short track program. Because outside of Katie Honeycutt winning at Richmond, it's honestly just been Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs out front, and that's exactly what was happening here. Because on that overtime restart, who was the two guys in the front? It was Chandler Smith and Lane Riggs, and Lane Riggs ended up pulling away because he has the most experience up front and contending in these trucks. And you know, good for him. Obviously, you know, I don't want to say he's padding his stats, but he might as well just be padding his stats because we all know he probably deserves to be up in Cup right now, honestly. But Noah Gragson obviously re-signed with Front Row for another year, so honestly, that leaves kind of Lane Riggs in a spot where he has nowhere else to go but to stay in trucks for another year, which you know I do imagine obviously he is going to. So, you know, the next year and a half is just going to be about him, obviously, you know, holding his um what's it called? What am I looking for here? Honing his craft. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Honing his craft a bit more, obviously, because we've seen it with Corey Heim. Honestly, they're not the same story, obviously, but you know, Heim stayed in trucks for probably a little bit longer than we all thought he would. Yet he did, and he's up here in the Cup level. And he's winning now. Front row is not 23-11. It's far from it, but you know, it couldn't hurt to have Riggs, stay down here and just, he shows winning speed. He has chances to win races. Front row, obviously, for good business purposes, is going to like that. So, yeah, he's been the dominant guy. I think it's his championship to lose. You all probably say the same thing. And then the only other guy that could probably give him a shot at it is Caden Honeycutt. And that's really it because he drives for Tricon Garage. And those are the two best teams right now in trucks with Tricon and Front Row. So, yeah, it should be an interesting battle if Caden Honeycutt can get a little bit hot. But otherwise, Riggs, I imagine, is going to be obviously the clear favorite going into the chase, and hopefully, he can, carry it forward because, he is a part of it. He isn't his family isn't that rich in history, honestly. I mean, Scott Riggs is decorated somewhat, but he wasn't really like obviously a good caliber driver in Cup. So, hopefully he can find, his own path. He certainly is in trucks, and, hopefully he can be a stalwart for front row and whatever that is. And hopefully they can improve their trucks, or they're not their trucks. Their trucks are good. They're Cup cars because, I think Lane Riggs obviously deserves to be up at the Cup level, at least competing for top tens, if not wins, top tens at least. And front row has a little bit ways before they do that. But all in all, it's a good win for Lane Riggs.
Yeah, great win for Lane Riggs. He locked up that number one seed pretty much a while ago at this point, with how good he's been this year. But just to go through the chase standings, who made it? Lane Riggs first, second, Caden Honeycutt, third, Chandler Smith, fourth, Christian Eckes, fifth, Gio Ruggiero, sixth, Ty Majeski, seventh, Grant Enfinger, eighth, Daniel Hemrick, ninth, Ben Rhodes, and 10th, Tyler Ankrum. Now, guys, I have my hot takes right up here in front of me. I only got two wrong. I said Justin Haley and Butterbean Queen was going to make it in. Obviously, Ram was not as good as I thought going into the year, and neither did Aiden. So I got those wrong. Obviously, we had, let's see who made it. Ben Rhodes, I had him out, and Grant Enfinger didn't even have him winning a race, so didn't have that one right. And my pick was Caden Honeycutt for champion chip here, so my champion's at least still alive. But anyway, let's move on and get to. Oh yeah, go for it.
I wouldn't say I looked. I only got two wrong as well. I got Justin Haley wrong, and I don't know why. I picked Daniel Dye. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Aged terribly.
Yeah, I don't
that
know why
aged really
that
bad.
one. I had Ty Majeski and Grio out, so Gio. Sorry, my bad. Out. So yeah, those are my two. Which I find funny that the two guys I got out were fifth and sixth, because normally like the guys you accidentally leave out are like 9th and 10th. So.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the day we go through who made the cup and like we go back, because I left out a guy who's currently sitting second, and Ty Gibbs. I left Ty Gibbs out.
No.
And that's
yeah. Connor Zillage is in my chase. I know that.
I'm pretty sure he's in mine too, but yikes. But anyway, it sounds like Zachary's back here. Do you have your
I got it. So I missed. They were both Ram drivers. Go figure. I missed on Brendan Queen and Justin Haley and got everyone else right. So that leaves out. Who's that leave out? Honestly, it leaves out. I think it leaves out. Yeah, it leaves out Ben Rhodes, and it leaves out Ran Enfinger, maybe? No, I have Enfinger. No, who did I not have in this?
Is it Majeski?
No, I got Majeski. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Honestly, I don't really know. Honestly.
Okay.
Just looking at it, I think I might have overdid it. I think I added one extra guy, honestly.
Wait, really? You have to
pick
11 guys to make a 10 race chase.
Oh, I see what I did. I see what
Forget that I put Daniel Dye. That guy's the bigger loser.
Honestly, it's all good, It's all good. I got most of the majority field right. That's all I care about.
Alrighty, guys. Let's go to Around the Garage, news around the garage. Let's get to the points. Here we go. At first, locked up the number one seed, Denny Hamlin. Second, Ryan Blaney. Third, Ty Gibbs. Fourth, Tyler Reddick. Fifth, Christopher Bell. Sixth, Chase Briscoe. Seventh, Kyle Larson. Eighth, Chase Elliott. Ninth, Joey Logano. 10th, Chris Buescher. 11th, Carson Hocevar, 12th, William Byron, and the last car locked in currently, Daniel Suarez in 13th. These next three drivers are not currently locked in 14th, Bubba Wallace, 15th, Austin Cindric, and the last car currently in 16th, Shane Van Gisbergen. 17th, we have Ryan Preece. And 18th, we have Brad Keselowski, the only two drivers that are mathematically able to make the playoffs. So, guys, instead of picking three and who we want to talk about, let's just talk about the bubble. I'm going to ask you a question, and you guys give me a short answer. Do they make it? Do they not? Why?
Okay.
Bubba Wallace, does he make it?
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Okay. I think all he has to do is finish 35th place. That's all he has to do.
Yeah. Statistic, like if you do the math, like Ryan Preece needs to have a perfect day, and Bubba Wallace needs to finish last. If Ryan Preece doesn't win stage one, it's over. Like he's locked in.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's good. Or if he wrecks
And if
and
there is
another
a-
driver wrecks with him, he completes one more lap, he's fine.
Yeah, exactly. Austin Cindric, does he make it plus 41 points?
He does.
I say yes. Just purely off the fact that Penske's good at drafting tracks and he will be up front. So he's less likely to get in a wreck.
I'm right there with you guys. I think he's going to lock up I think the first stage or so, he's going to get enough stage points where he's pretty much locked in. And if he does wreck out, I feel like it's going to be a similar situation to last year with Alex Bowman, where there's a chance, but he's got enough points where he should be fine. And then the last one here, Shane Van Gisbergen. Does he make it or not? Plus 31 points to the good. Ryan Preece has a chance to catch him. Now, I do want to note, Brad Keselowski needs a perfect race of 76 points and some help. Meaning he needs to win both stages, win the race, and have the fastest lap to even really have a shot.
Brad Keselowski, no.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski's no. So leaves us the last two. Ryan Preece, minus 31, or SVG plus 31. Who makes it?
Oof, those losing 25 points for wrecking John Hunter Nemechek at Texas is really coming back to bite you. God damn it. We went another show. We went another show mentioning John Hunter Nemechek.
Well, you're technically wrong.
Oh, I am. Never mind then.
It was tight.
Go for it.
But you know what the irony of this whole situation though is that incident happened and Priest got obviously fined and docked points, and SVG did the same exact thing. You could argue to Austin Hill at Chicagoland, and he got nothing. I'm just saying.
That is crazy to think about.
Yeah. Wait. So who did Ryan Preece wreck at Texas? Because now I'm just blaming John Hunter Nemechek for everything. I'm about to blame John Hunter Nemechek for 9/11 at this point.
Nah, that John Hunter Nemechek, obviously, if you remember, guy was having a beef match with Kyle Busch at the end. That's what happened.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so back to what we were saying. So it's a close one because SVG is really not that great at Daytona, but I feel like he has enough awareness to understand the point situation that he is in at Daytona to where I can see him riding around in the back the entire day, with all honesty. And like, if he does that, that's perfectly fine. Ryan Preece is kind of iffy on Daytona. Sometimes he'll have a good run. Sometimes he's flipping through the air down the back straightaway somehow. It really just depends on how him and the rest of the RFK cars go. Obviously, Brad Keselowski is also in a tight situation, so he wants as many stage points as he can get. And Chris Buescher's already locked in, so Chris Buescher might not try anything either. So I think that kind of can put Ryan Preece in a bad situation. Just everything stacking against him at Daytona and things stacking great for SVG. We mentioned how, RFK isn't in a good situation. Trackhouse isn't in a good situation either. Obviously, Ross can't make it in, and neither can Connor Zillage, which Connor couldn't be able to make it in like 5 weeks ago.
10 weeks ago.
10 weeks ago, whatever it is at this point. They'll give all they got to SVG for sure.
Yeah, I mean, You know what's funny I find a little bit is that Bubba Wallace could have been locked in if he had one additional point, but he couldn't find that additional point. So he technically isn't locked in, but theoretically, obviously, he's good to go. And Penske's too strong, so on these tracks, so Cindric is obviously I think is going to be locked in as well. So if you look at it, I hate to be Chris Buescher honestly because he has two guys that are just outside that cutoff line. And he has to decide which one he's going to help. Now, I would help Priest because he's obviously closer to the cutoff line. And, honestly, I think Brad is a little bit smart in the sense that if he knows after stage one he can't theoretically obviously make it, he's going to do everything possible to help Priest make it because Priest will still have a legitimate shot at doing so, at making the chase. So with that, you could have Buescher and Kozlowski both making sure that Priest get up front and potentially win, obviously. And so that could play a big role into this. But of course, we all know plans never go, correct at Daytona because anything can happen. Because, the two best guys, theoretically average finish wise on the summer race at Daytona, you guys will never guess who it is. The two top guys. You want to take a guess who it is?
Say that again.
Who are the two best average finish drivers in the summer Daytona race?
I want to say Bubba Wallace is one of them. I saw a stat that he's got the best average finish at Daytona
Isn't it
in the last 10 years.
Isn't it Ryan Blaney and Chris Buescher?
Nope.
Were any of the three guys we said correct?
Nope. You're never gonna believe it.
Is it William Byron?
Oh, is it Eric? It's Eric Jones.
No.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Just the summer race. The summer race.
Cody Ware.
Yes, he's one of them.
Is the other? You said we won't believe it. Ooh, Cole Custer.
Yep, both of those guys. Yes, both of them have around like a 10th place average because chaos reigns supreme at this track, especially in the summer, especially when it's the end of the regular season as well. So anything can happen. So you could see a wild card like a Priest win, honestly, and that's why SVG was so upset. You could tell obviously after New Hampshire because early on it seemed like it was in a good position, and then as soon as the track went dry, he ended up losing all those spots, and Priest had a great day. So honestly, I don't really want to pick who could make it. I want to say it probably would be SVG just because he does still have the point gap. But again, if RFK has the numbers in their favor, Priest could make one heck of a run there, especially at the end. And just is something that's going to come down to the wire here, and it always does. It seems like at Daytona.
Yeah. Before I move on, I do want to know, like for myself, I think it'll be close. Like I think Priest gets very close. I think Ford will do everything in their power to help Brad and Priest get there. I'm sure we'll see them try to get Brad some stage wins. Priest probably hopefully pushing right behind them in second, and they're going to do everything they can to leave SVG out to dry. But I think it'll be close, but I think SVG still has just too much of a gap for Priest to catch up, and I just don't see Brad getting there, getting the win, and then everything else he needs to get in as well. So moving on, we have a lot of news to cover here. So we're going to go to an RCR section here. I'm going to say it's two lines here. You guys go on because that was Austin Hill, RCR, signs extension with the 33. There was rumors Josh Berry might be there, but we talked about those last week. Rumors have been quieted now as it is Austin Hill's seat. And doing so, now RCR has two open seats in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. RCR signs Carson Brown, or is it Chase?
Carson Brown.
Is it Chase Brown? Yeah, Carson Brown.
Carson Brown. It's not the Cincinnati Bengals running back.
Yeah, I didn't know for sure if it was Carson or Chase Brown. ARCA driver, younger driver, kind of. They did the same route what they did with Jesse Love, and then they signed Chandler Smith. So, guys, thoughts on the RCR news we just left for you today?
Well, I kind of already expressed my thoughts with an image on the group chat that I cannot show on here, unfortunately. we'd get kicked off of YouTube. Is pretty much what I'm saying. Yeah, great. Austin Hill's cup racing now. God save us all. Holy hell. We're gonna your favorite driver is gonna have to share a racetrack with John Hunter Nemechek, Cody Ware, and Austin Hill. What a time to be alive. Better yet, I'd rather be dead. But anyways, yeah, this signing doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, with all honesty. Like, Austin Hill's been awful since. Yes, I understand, like, oh, the circumstances, yeah, they're terrible, but like, even like without the circumstance, he's still driving like shit. Like, he's not good. And it really sucks because I thought Josh Berry has shown that he has a lot better of a skill set than Austin Hill does in the Cup Series. I thought Josh Berry was definitely the better route to go than Austin Hill for sure. Uh, but we'll get to other Josh Berry details. I mean, you mentioned how they have another Xfinity Series ride opened up. There is a possibility of Berry having to go down and racing in the Xfinity Series. Uh, and that could still be with RCR. Uh, yeah, the RCR was just put in a weird spot this year with its driver lineup. I mean, we all kind of had a feeling that more than likely it would be Austin Hill, but we all didn't want it to be Austin Hill for obvious reasons. We're all Division One Austin Hill haters, rightfully so. So yeah, we have two fuck asses named Austin racing for RCR right now.
You know, again, RCR and the Wood brothers along with this, I feel like those two are like stuck in the mud, and it takes something drastic to really, move forward, I feel like. And I'm sorry, man. I mean, sure, Austin Hill has been a driver for RCR for a good while now, and he has won a decent amount of O'Reilly races, all of them basically being on super speedways, besides like one. And with that, he has a relationship already built in with most of the guys there at RCR. And again, the circumstances around it and how he got the ride obviously is obviously very tragic, and no one wants to be put in that situation. And I think Kelly Crandall, I saw, had a very great article put out about Austin Hill and how his thought process through that whole situation was. But at some point, man, I mean, you needed to take a swing, and sure enough, they really didn't, because he has been pretty bad, obviously. And maybe, again, maybe they don't want to take a risk at this current moment, because they wanted everything to settle down for a little bit before they actually decide on things. And they have that next year and a half to decide if he needs to be, kept in the Cup Series or be moved back down to the O'Reilly Series. I could see, because they could get, Carson Brown up here at the Cup level. Sure, that could be rushing him through his development, but at some point, we've all learned that, in the next gen era, especially, you just need to get track experience and experience in general with this car. So maybe honestly putting him up to the Cup level isn't a bad thing. But for Austin Hill's sake, I guess, he's in the Cup Series. I mean, should he be there? Honestly, with his results, just speaking about his results, obviously no. But maybe he can find something. He can improve on something. But at the same time, and I had this issue with a guy like Harrison Burton when he got brought up to Cup as well, is that, when you're in the O'Reilly Series and I see you and you're only good at like one certain track type, and then you go through a good, decent bout of not winning, I don't think you're a Cup level driver at that moment. And unfortunately for Austin Hill, he's really only shown one good thing, one great skill at, and that's the super speedway racing. And even then, you get to Cup level and you see all those guys that have, obviously a tremendous amount of experience and know how to run those tracks. And the O'Reilly Series, you really don't see that, because, there are a lot of these guys are younger. A lot of these guys just don't know the value of teamwork and, how to make the moves necessary when you need to go for the win. And, the Cup guys do. And sure enough, we haven't really seen Austin Hill in, the front of a super speedway race that he did. He's run a couple of them. He ran Atlanta, actually, but, this would be a second one. But still, you didn't see him in Atlanta at all. And again, maybe they got to play the safe route. Obviously, they are, and I'm gonna give them some grace because I don't have a whole lot of expectations for RCR because they're not going to go out there and win a bunch of races. They haven't been for a good while now. So, I'll give some grace there, but, again, not a very needle moving move. As for their O'Reilly lineup, it's pretty solid lineup, all things considered. Again, Junior Motorsports is the best equipment you can have in the O'Reilly series, and RCR is kind of like a tier below that. Although we did see Jesse Lowe obviously win the championship because he was so great at Phoenix. So solid lineup. We'll see what they can do, but RCR again, not a very flashy organization, and they continue to keep the status quo the same. Obviously, with certain drivers and just their process to becoming a championship team, is if that's what they want to be. Obviously, is not like where it needs to be right now because obviously I think Spire has leapfrogged them from being the surefire second team, because Trackhouse has dropped lower. RCR's kind of stayed the same, middling pack. So I guess we'll see what happens in the near future because, we all know Austin Hill, more or less needs to show something this next year and a half because if he doesn't, he is obviously at risk of losing that ride, at least in the cup level.
Yeah, you guys made some good points on this one. Moving on a bit, let's talk about um, some more changes in the Xfinity series. That being, Sammy Smith won't be back at JRM. Now, it's been rumored, probably the worst kept rumor in the Xfinity O'Reilly Auto Parts series is that a former JRM driver is coming back to JRM. And just a couple weeks ago, Dean Thompson announced he's going to be in the 41, which obviously means someone finish it for me. Who's going into that 8 car?
Sam Mayer.
Sam Mayer is taking that 8 car. I mean, we could just put the puzzle together here, but as it's been announced, it's going to be obvious when that eventually gets now announced. But yeah, Sammy Smith out of the 8, and he has pilot sponsorship, part of that family. So wherever he goes, he's going to bring that sponsorship to him. Now, if I want to put my bet somewhere, I'm putting my bets that he's going to be in that 26 at Sam Hunt Racing because Dean Thompson left to go to that 41 and brought his family sponsorship. I bet you we see Sammy Smith go to that 26 with Sam Hunt Racing and bringing the pilot sponsorship over with him. So, guys, thoughts on Sammy Smith leaving and then all these other pieces likely moving along with it?
I think it's valid. We mentioned us talking about when we first heard that Sammy Smith was leaving, and Sam Mayer coming back in. Cool. I'm not against it at all. I think Sam Mayer does have a lot in the tank, and I do think he can elevate Junior Motorsports. Like we know he can. And yeah, Sammy Smith, obviously he got sponsorships, always sticking with him. Pilot, possibly going to Sam Hunt Racing. What fucking shitty ass music. But anyways, yeah, I think for Sammy Smith, he's just a driver that I don't see a lot out of. Like, I don't think he's going to like take that team to new heights, but he's not going to put him in the gutter either. Like I said, like I mentioned when we first found out that he wasn't coming back to Junior Motorsports, he's just not a needle mover. That's not a bad thing, but it's not a good thing either. For Sam Hunt Racing, that might actually be a good thing for them. He's not going to get DNFs, but he's not going to win you races either. He's just kind of a guy that's there. And yes, he brings in sponsorship, he brings in money. He's the O'Reilly Series Paul Menard, pretty much. I respect the hell out of Paul Menard. Did he do a whole lot? No. Did he do a lot of good? No. Did he do a lot of bad? Also, no, not really. Which, by the way, look at Paul Menard's DNF stats. They're actually ridiculous how little that man wasn't on the track. But anyway, I digress. And obviously, Paul Menard was the son of the guy that owns Menard, so that helps him out. He always had sponsorships behind him. So yeah, Sammy Smith is the O'Reilly's Paul Menard, and that's kind of just eh. Like Paul Menard's just the most basic uh generate a random driver guy you've ever met before. I say all of this when I like Paul Menard. I sound like a Paul Menard hater. I don't hate Paul Menard. I actually low key like Paul Menard. It's just yeah, he's just a guy. Like that's what Sammy Smith is, a guy. Like I think it's funny that both their names are pretty basic, Paul and Sammy. Those are really basic names too. Like it's just a randomly generated driver. That's all they are.
Um, there's a lot of obviously again moving parts in this whole story. It hasn't been confirmed yet. Where Sammy Smith is going, where Sam Mayer is going. Obviously, you've heard that Dean Thompson's going to the 41. Um, and the O'Reilly series, especially, if you bring in sponsorship, you're going to find a ride. Now, is that ride going to be good or not? I'm not totally sure. But Sammy Smith has been gifted a great opportunity with Junior Motorsports the last several years. He took over from, the late Michael Annett, RIP, because he used to have the pilot sponsorship. Sammy Smith carried that on. And similar to Michael Annett, honestly, is where he can get solid results, but he never is obviously up front. You never see him really up front a lot winning. He has like 3 wins in the O'Reilly series, 1 with Joe Gibbs Racing and 2 with Junior Motorsports. And every single time when he wins, I'm sorry, I'm going like I turn my head sideways. Like, really? He really won? He won Talladega. He won Rockingham, I guess, technicality because Jesse Love got disqualified. And then he won Phoenix. His Phoenix win is his one actual race where he actually dominated that. The other 2 ones is where, anything could – well, one of them got DQ, like the winner got DQ'd actually, like when the leader crossed the line, he just happened to be in second place. And Talladega where he got the help at the right time. All in all, though, he's obviously, again, solid driver. Is he going to put that team in contention further than what it is? Honestly, probably not. But he does bring in, obviously, good funding. And, that's what that team looks for. And then as for Sam Mayer coming back to Junior Motorsports, good move, honestly, for him. I didn't really understand why he moved over to Haas to begin with, because I don't think Junior Motorsports was really pushing him out. But he went over there and, he made the playoffs, I guess, twice, and he's going to make the chase this year. But, going back over to Junior Motorsports is a good opportunity for him, obviously, to get, better equipment, in my opinion, more consistently. And hopefully, he doesn't, turn into the Sam Mayer that we've seen this year where he's like wrecking a bunch of stuff because, again, you ain't going to make it far if you're tearing up your equipment. He doesn't bring a whole lot of funding, honestly, to the table like a Sammy Smith. He doesn't have a whole lot of backing behind him, but Junior Motorsports can find sponsorships for him, and it's no big deal. So, no and behold, I'm not really too worried about Junior Motorsports driver lineup as a whole. Obviously, Allgaier is still going to be there. He's still going to contend for wins. Carson Waffle, I've heard, is going to be there again next year, and we've seen him obviously win races this year with 2 wins back to back. The only other piece of the puzzle that's left to figure out is obviously who's that fourth, if there's going to be a 4th full-time driver there, because obviously if it's going to be 3 full-time drivers with Carson Quaffle, Sam Mayer, and Justin Allgaier, who's the 4th guy going to be, if there is going to be a 4th guy? You could be Roger Carruth, or maybe Raja has to again split time between the 88 and another car. We'll see. But again, a lot of moving pieces around in the O'Reilly series, but that's what happens when a driver can bring funding and a certain team wants to move on from them. That's what we have happen here. But yeah, I mean, it should be interesting to see how these drivers fare in their new surroundings. Rizzo, you're muted. Still shows he's muted.
Any moment now, he will speak. Wonder if he can hear us. Quick, say something you hate about Rizzo. He's got that stupid ass beard. He's a Steelers fan. He's a Toyota fan, which according to never mind. I'm not gonna repeat that. Yeah, he totally can't hear us, so we can say whatever we want about him.
His mic is just dead.
Yeah, look at this bozo with a dead mic. Too. Look at this stupid hat. Look how dumb he looks. Notice how his head's like too perfectly round. like his head is like a basketball. Like it's almost perfectly symmetrical. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know.
It's just perfectly round. Really, his whole body in general. I don't know if anyone's like ever seen Rizzo in real life. Like, it's like two circles stacked on top of each other with arms and legs that are also almost perfectly round too. I just want to add that, like, shockingly symmetrical.
All right, we got to move forward with the show. Honestly, I know what's next. Honestly, but
oh, he can't hear us.
Yeah, I know. I figured he could. The next thing we got to talk about here, obviously, is Josh Berry. Go figure. Honestly, he's still a free agent. Announced early in the year that Wood Brothers decided to move on from him. Jesse Love is obviously going in that ride, and Barry has, struggled to find a home ever since that news dropped, and he's been trying to find a ride. He can't find one really in Cup, but he can't really find one in O'Reilly or the Truck Series. So, Aiden, what do you think about Josh Berry's prospects, I should say, of finding a top ride just anywhere in general, honestly, because I do feel like he does deserve a top ride somewhere in the NASCAR's top 3 levels.
Yeah, I think he definitely does deserve a ride. I mean, we've seen it the past few weeks now. I know we can argue whether or not that's just a part of Penske itself. Like, is he a product of Penske as a team just being good at these tracks recently? I'd say a little bit, yes, but also in general, like, he has shown that he is a good driver, that I think he definitely deserves a ride. We've seen him win several races in the O'Reilly Series, then called the Xfinity Series. He's won several times for Junior Motorsports. We saw him win at Las Vegas last week. I mean, not last week, last year, I mean. And he has had good runs even when Penske wasn't running good. He is a good race car driver. He does absolutely deserve at least a ride. Now, a Cup ride, I'm not sure right now, but definitely at least an O'Reilly ride, at least a truck ride. We mentioned how RCR. We talked about the rumor last week how Josh Berry could be racing for RCR. That could still technically be true. RCR still has another car open, so there's a possibility he could be racing for there. Or it just hit me. We mentioned how they said a former JRM driver is going to drive the 8 car, and we all assume that's going to be Sam Mayer. But what if they're like, nah, it's Josh Berry. Josh Berry back in the 8 car.
You want me to kill that for you right now?
Yes, do it.
Matt Weaver said it's not going to be him.
Okay, so I'm not allowed to have any fun. But anyways.
By the way, I'm back, everyone.
He's back.
By the way, Aiden is also shaped pretty unproportionately. I don't know where he got all that. I really don't. He hasn't seen me in years.
Unproportionately? I said you were symmetrical. What? That's the opposite of what I said.
I honestly don't know what happened technical difficulty wise there. I had my earbuds in. I could hear you guys perfectly fine.
Yeah.
My mouse wasn't working. Like, as I was moving my mouse, the whole screen would move with it. None of my buttons on my keyboard were. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna force quit and close my laptop.
Yep,
but yeah, all right. Well,
that worked.
I'm back.
That works.
Sorry about that, guys.
This show is unhinged.
Unhinged episode today. So if you're watching, you got a good one. Where are we at, guys? I'm sorry, I kind of cut off.
Honestly, you kind of cut off Aiden there. He was talking about Josh Berry, how he's a free agent, and his prospects of ride just anywhere in general.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the RCR ride's definitely a possibility, and I have haven't really looked at the Truck Series like free agency pool yet. With all honesty, uh, the Cup Series is interesting to say the least. We kind of came into the season thinking it was going to be one wacky season. Then everyone kind of just got re-signed all at once. Like, yeah, Blaney got re-signed, Gibbs got re-signed, Reddick got re-signed. Riley Herbst didn't get re-signed. We know what's happening there. Uh, Kyle Busch was going to be a whole saga before he unfortunately passed, and now that his ride is decided at this point already. Uh, we Alex Bowman was going to be a whole thing, and then that has shaped up. Eric Jones got re-signed this year, earlier this year too. Does anyone, or am I thinking of last year? He might have
No,
been re-signed
he
last
hasn't. He hasn't been re-signed, but we all imagine he probably is with legacy, obviously.
year. Yeah. He's Legacy's guy. Really, the only interesting thing right now on the Cup side, I would say, is Ryan Preece and the 60 car, but that's really just because of the charter. I'm like 90% sure if they 100% had the charter, RFK would just re-sign Ryan Preece again. Or when they get that sorted out and have 3 cars next year, it will just be Ryan Preece. So yeah, interesting to see. Maybe Jimmy Johnson has enough of John Hunter Nemechek's stuff and just puts Josh Berry in that car. So a man can hope.
He would stop talking about the 42 car for sure. At least from crashing people. Hopefully, Josh Berry, can figure out how to stop wrecking, getting caught up in wrecks. Unfortunately, he gets caught up in a lot of
Josh
them.
Berry has the decency to not wreck other people and just wreck himself when he wrecks.
Yeah. I mean, Dale Jr.'s been talking about it on his Dale Jr. download, obviously, and for good reason. Obviously, he's the whole reason that Barry got in the O'Reilly Series, drove for Junior Motorsports for a couple of years there. He sees Josh Berry. He knows he has some talent in there. Now, is Josh Berry this high ceiling type of guy? Obviously, no, because he's just in the Cup Series. He just got in the Cup Series. He's 34 years old. Typically, when you get in the Cup Series now, you're like 23 or younger. When your first full time season, um, what coincides with the RCR rumor is that Barry in the 21 obviously got hit in the part of the schedule where it just like really favored them well. Penske obviously is the best when it comes to flat tracks. And where's Josh Berry really good at? He's good at the short flat tracks. And sure enough, he's rattled off 4 top tens in a row. Now, obviously, he suffers from the same thing that a lot of these drivers that tend to do, especially in this high demanding world, and that is that he does not bring a whole lot of funding. And because he does not bring a whole lot of funding to the table, he does not have a whole lot of like big time achievement resume type wins, honestly, because a lot of his winning in the racing series have come from late models. Now, that's not no slouch, obviously, and that's why I do believe that he deserves to be somewhere in NASCAR's top 3 series. But if you look at it, obviously he has like 4 O'Reilly wins and he has like 1 Cup win, obviously at Vegas. It's tough out there, obviously, for a guy like him. And unfortunately, with the way it's played out, the way we're at in the season, obviously in the calendar, is that this is August coming into September. A lot of these teams have their plans finalized already, obviously, and it's a lot of slim pickings out there. So I just hope that he can find a ride because I do believe, obviously, he deserves to be in NASCAR somewhere and he deserves to be in a spot where he can compete for wins, no matter what series that is.
Yeah, he absolutely deserves to be in the Cup Series. I think he's better than some guys in there currently. John Hunter Nemechek, you're one of them. Uh, but I mean, the sport is driven by money, and if you don't have money along with you, you're just not going to find the ride that you probably deserve. And yeah, we got the new um, uh, rules implemented in NASCAR, the new charter agreement, and all that, but it still really hasn't helped. We haven't seen it translate to getting those guys who deserve seats in these good seats. At least not yet. Maybe in a couple years when the money gets distributed, all the teams get more money, they have the surplus, the funds, and all that. Maybe then we get the drivers that deserve these rides get in those rides. Moving on,
Our last topic here is the Truck Series gets a new sponsor, that being the FedEx Freight Series. It being the naming rights, separate entity of. I mean, it's a part of FedEx, but not like the same FedEx that we saw. But yeah, Craftsman Truck Series no more. Going to the FedEx Freight. Guys, thoughts on this one?
Interesting, interesting call. I kind of like Craftsman as the Truck Series sponsor, but FedEx Freight, it's kind of cool. The FedEx Freight Truck Series. It doesn't quite have the ring to it like the Craftsman Truck Series did, but I still think it's pretty cool. Uh, FedEx, obviously, this is a different form of FedEx. FedEx was a great sponsor for NASCAR for a long time, in my opinion. Sponsored Denny Hamlin for several years. Uh, I think having any form of them back in the sport's a good thing, even though this is technically a separate entity. Uh, yeah, I'm excited to see how what happens with it. FedEx Freight now. Any chance does anyone remember when Denny Hamlin would run different paint schemes based on
Yes,
what FedEx? Yes,
loved those schemes. I thought those
was
were so cool.
was FedEx Freight the
Red.
blue
It
or
was
the
red.
green?
No, it
Oh,
was
it
the
was the
red.
red.
The
Okay.
red, yeah. It was
Mm.
the red. FedEx Freight is red. I do want to say one more thing. If they do not have a dang freight FedEx Freight box truck lead the field to green, they are missing out on some crazy, crazy, awesome PR.
Okay, you said one thing that was like 20, but anyways, yeah, yeah,
One
yeah,
topic. One topic. It was a topic.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah, yeah.
honestly.
1,000%. We need a freight truck to lead them to green. That would be cool. You know, we had an opportunity with UPS a few years back, but yeah, uh, we should get a FedEx freight truck to lead them to green, at least at Daytona, at least.
I have a lot of nostalgia, obviously, because I've been watching NASCAR for a good while now. We all have. I have a lot of nostalgia for the Camping World Truck Series when it was called that. Craftsman came in, and I thought they did a good job, obviously. And now, new sponsor with FedEx Freight. Honestly, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm not even thinking about the Truck Series at this moment. And I know that they're completely different, obviously, now because it's not the main FedEx umbrella. They're singular now from that. But now I'm just imagining in Denny Hamlin, if next year is his last year, if he can convince FedEx to come on board for like one race in the finale, maybe at Homestead next year, because think about it, guys, think about it. Emma Ems is back on the car, obviously, for a special tribute scheme to Kyle Busch in Bristol. You got Jimmy Johnson that's going to run potentially the Lowe's car again, the 48 as well at Daytona. I mean, again, the world is healing. Could we see FedEx back in NASCAR sponsoring Denny Hamlin for another race? I hope so. Honestly, I really hope so. We can see that. But as for the Truck Series, um, obviously they need to find a good sponsor, official sponsor, for the series itself, because obviously, the NASCAR the NASCAR Cup Series is just that. The NASCAR Cup Series, they don't have a main sponsor anymore like it was with Winston or Sprint or Nextel or anything like that, or Monster Energy, if anyone remembers that short time period. It's just the NASCAR Cup Series. But the lower series desperately needs a good sponsor for it, because it does fund them some more money, obviously. Um, so you've seen the NASCAR Busch Series, Nationwide, Xfinity, O'Reilly, you get it. And then obviously you got trucks. I've talked about it with Craftsman and Camping World. So hopefully FedEx Freight is a good sponsor for them. You are right. We potentially could see a truck lead them to the green. That'd be kind of hilarious. The memes that would come out of that would be probably hilarious as well. And I hope they are a good sponsor for the Truck Series.
That should be a good change to see there. I always like seeing a sponsor come back into the sport in any form or way. Moving on, let's change gears here and go to Aiden's diecast of the week. Aiden, what do you got for us this week?
We need to make my own custom intro. That's all I'm saying. For this segment, that'd be That'd be cool. It's just me saying unhinged stuff. It doesn't even have to be about diecast. Anyways, this weekend, I had to think about this one a little bit because normally I like to, match the drivers with what's going on in the news today or what happened. So this one was a little hard because it was about Austin Hill. No, I don't have an Austin Hill diecast. No, I don't want an Austin Hill diecast. I will burn it. So yeah, I went with the driver that ran really good last week and a team that ran really good here because that team got what was it? 3 top 5 runs for the first time since like Morgan Shepherd. So I got a Wood Brothers car and it's Ryan Blaney's 2016 Wood Brothers Craftsman Truck Series. I mean not Craftsman, Motorcraft car. You see, you got the old fashioned rookie stripes. Really really miss the rookie stripe days, and yeah, just cool detailing. As you can see, there's a little bit of a scrape on the quarter panel there. That's because like when I got this diecast, that was still the days where I would get diecasts and like run a race with them. Back when I was still young enough to do that. Now I feel like if I do that, my back will hurt. But anyways,
That's funny. Yeah.
yeah. Obviously, I just always loved the Wood Brothers cars. I think we all agree that Wood Brothers being in NASCAR is a good thing. Just the golden number 20. I know you can't really tell through the camera, but that gold just shines in the light pretty well. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite diecasts, and he really did have a decent rookie season. He actually was uh, in the points to make the playoffs that year. He was good to make it in on points until about the final 4 races of the season, where he had a few bad runs. Started at Bristol, but yeah, Ryan Blaney's 2016 rookie car.
Wood Brothers always has a fantastic paint scheme. That's a classic. You never see it change, really. Just beautiful scheme out there on track. Always can count on them bringing the same scheme, but always looks good out there. Next up, let's get to our award ceremony. So, guys, give me your top shelf and hangover of the week. Top shelf, I've got to give it to that same exact team. Give it to Wood Brothers and Josh Berry. 3 weeks in a row, top 5 finishes. If you think about it, they were going to probably have a very good day at North Wilkesboro. They got caught up in a wreck, finished 36th. That was not indicative of how they were running in that race. They were flying up the field at that point. I think right now they're one of the hottest teams right now. Josh Berry, sadly, he doesn't have the ride. We were talking about it already, but he's been on fire lately, so he's going to be my top shelf of the week.
Yeah, my top shelf is probably gonna be a little bit simpler than that. Give me simply the winner. Give me Ryan Blaney. All right. Anytime Ryan Blaney wins, I'm gonna give him the top shelf for here on out. So that means none of you guys steal it and say it before I do, or else I'll go to your home and shoot your cat. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll do something to you. Don't steal that from me.
All right. You guys took the best one, honestly, in my opinion. So I'll just choose the guy that is a little further back in the results, but still finished really decently. And considering how it started off, obviously he desperately needed this too. Tyler Reddick here in 8th place, spun out on lap 1, literally from the pole position. Seemed like it was going to be more of the same thing it has been the entire summer, where it seems like he's going to have a good day and immediately gets smacked in the face almost and gets knocked down a couple of notches. And well, he found a way to rebound, obviously in 8th place. His teammate Bubba finished 2nd, but Tyler Reddick obviously needed something because it's been a terrible summer, and the chase is about to begin. So he needed something, honestly, to hang your head on. So this 8th place run, not the best, but not the worst either, and a good rebound. So Tyler Reddick, props for keeping her head in the game.
Nice picks, guys. Now to the hangover of the week. I have to give mine to Ross Chastain. Them having an issue, not being able to finish the race and being eliminated. barely before the race even really got going. Um, just I thought this was a race where he could get some stage points, be up there in contention, not for the win at all, but like just have a good day and kind of be at a spot where he could attempt to point himself in at Daytona. But obviously, 81 points back, he's completely out of it. There's no chance. But yeah, he's gonna have to go to Ross Chastain and that team as a whole. Just that's a team that I predicted. I'm pretty sure everyone else here predicted to make the chase this year and have them having a terrible year.
Yeah, my guy, I'm going to have to go with William Byron. I mean, New Hampshire was kind of just a William Byron 2026 story. Running good, running decent, and tire comes off and hits the wall. So yeah, it's just that's just how William Byron's season has gone. Just absolutely terrible. For a driver that we all thought was going to be a championship contender, is not even top 10 in points right now. I'm pretty sure. He's going to make the chase. He's already locked in. So that's so nothing disastrous is going to happen to prevent him from getting in. But honestly, just how he's been running and how he's been running the entire season, I don't see him doing a lot in the chase. And it's already bad because Rudy Fugle is going to have to miss 2 races. So he's going to miss Daytona and the first race of the chase now.
Actually, it's not his crew chief. It's just his jackman and his tire changer. That's what it is. It used to be crew chief, but they changed the rule. So there's a couple guys I'm looking at I could choose from. So honorable mention time if I can do that. John Hunter Nemechek, just because I want to, and I don't feel like I've gotten my hate in on him. These guys have, I haven't. The guy is just absolutely slow, and he was in a new car, new number this week, I guess, because it was celebrating the 40th anniversary of whatever his sponsor is at the moment. I completely blown a blank. Okay, but
Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree, 40th. Thank you, 40th anniversary of Dollar Tree, and guess what? He still ran a whopping like 28th place all race long, multiple laps down. Just thankfully, he just didn't ruin the finish because man, we do not need John Nemechek to ruin more good things, obviously. And the guy I am going to give the Hangover Award to, and how could you not? Honestly, with how his season's going. He's going to Hendon Motorsports in 2028. But Connor Zilic, man, what the heck were you doing? Arca brakes galore, man. Entering the corner, and you didn't. The spotter says high, like the crash is high, and guess what happens? He gets on the brakes, doesn't slow down, and wrecks into Riley Herbst, tears his car up. And these sort of mistakes, you can point to Trackhouse being slow. You can point to you just being a rookie. But I know certain, obviously, cup drivers that would never, obviously, be in a situation like that where you're literally on the bottom of the track going to avoid it, yet you lock it up and go up the track and cause an accident, a bigger accident than what it was. So, Connor Zilic, I don't know, man. You had a rough go of it, but certain things like that, obviously, do not put favors people towards you in a certain way. Like people see you as a generational talent. That's not a generational talent. It's not what a generational talent does, honestly. So hopefully, you can survive whatever you're going through because that was rough to see.
Yeah, rough indeed. He kept saying, "Go low, go low, go low," and sure enough, he just drove right into him. Good picks, guys. Speaking of picks and predictions, let's go to the picks and predictions section of the show here. But let's first talk about last week and where we all finished. In last place, we had Aiden. His guy there finished. He had Cindric. I think he finished 12th.
Yeah. 12th place finish, and you finished last. Damn.
Yeah. I called it. I said we're all going to get top 10s, but you got 12th. Bunny finished 3rd. He had Reddick, who finished 8th. I finished 2nd with Bell, who finished 4th. And Zachary, you finally got a win. That's not the All-Star race. You had Barry, and he got 3rd place. So Aiden with the first pick, who do you have? You're at Daytona.
So Daytona is such like a crapshoot at this point. Like there are 2 guys that I am really debating on going with, and I was kind of hoping I wouldn't finish last and wouldn't have the first pick. I was just hoping one of these guys would just get taken off my hands and I could easily just pick the other guy. One of those guys is Corey Heim. I really thought about it, but I think I trust the other guy a lot better just because he's a veteran and he's won here before. Give me Chris Buescher.
Good pick. Michael's got the next pick, and he is going with William Byron. Won here plenty of times before, so that's a pretty solid pick. I am next, and I have a guy, but I am just going to make sure I haven't picked him. So, guys, give me just a second. I just want to make sure I haven't picked. I think I just recently did. Yes, of course, I already picked him. So that sucks. But that gives me another guy to pick. Give me Eric Jones. He's really good at Daytona. And I know Zachary gave us some guys who tend to do very well here at this race, but I mean, it's Eric Jones. He knows it. He's a really underrated guy when it comes to these races. So give me Eric Jones. Zachary, who do you got?
Yeah, I have one, honestly. I've won, again, you said I won the All-Star race, but I won earlier in the year with SVG. So my 2 wins, honestly, in points races, of course, is SVG on a road course and Josh Berry on a short track, honestly. Sometimes taking the obvious guy almost is just better. These guys had good picks. Obviously, Aiden said it, Daytona's kind of a crapshoot, honestly. You just – typically in the next gen car, obviously you've seen it, you need track position, but now we have a new package. Obviously this weekend, we have no idea what to expect, honestly, and they're not going to practice for it either. So it's entering the race. Everyone's kind of just going to be throwing blanks out there, just hoping to see how it's going to race. And I did give, a couple of guys out there a shout out because they are pretty good here. Honestly, I'm going to take one of them because why not? Honestly, because this is the end of the regular season. The money time obviously is starting next week. So give me Cole Custer.
Interesting picks from all of us this week. But let's get into those predictions.
Real quick. I wanted to say, I always kept track, and now the regular season's over and we reset for the playoffs, for the chase, I mean. Here are the guys that I end up never picking once. Cody Ware, Cole Custer, Josh Berry, the devil himself, John Hunter Nemechek, Todd Gillen, Austin Hill, never picked Kyle Busch either, unfortunately. Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Ryan Preece, Corey Heim, Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, and Carson Hocevar. I never picked Carson Hocevar the entire year.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
No,
the Carson Hocevar one shocked me. I didn't realize that till halfway
shocking.
Through the year, and he was already on a downhill trajectory after that.
Damn. I didn't. I mean, I have this Excel spreadsheet that Bunny gives me, but yeah. Hey, it's a good battle between me, you, and Bunny. Right now, I'm up, but it's going to be a battle to crown the champion. Right now, I'm going in as the 1 seed.
Honestly, man, just looking at it, I don't know the guys I haven't picked, but I just want to say this right now. I could have taken SCG at Watkins Glen, right? And he ended up winning that race, obviously. And for some reason, again, I was just kind of in the depression or something because I picked Cody Ware, obviously, that race.
I made sure you were all right. I literally said, "Are you sure?"
I picked Eric Jones, obviously, at Talladega and Logano at Texas. Fuck Texas. And they both finished, obviously, last in that for the picks. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not in the mood for it. I'm just going to get it out of the way right now. Might as well keep my depression going. I picked Cody Ware for it. So I thought, why not?
All right. Let's go into predictions here. You guys kind of alluded to it. It's going to be a completely different package that NASCAR is throwing at them this week. And there is going to be no practice, no nothing. You're just qualifying. That's all you got. I'm sure they got sim figuring out what they got there, but I mean, sim only helps so much.
Fuck the drivers, I guess.
Yeah, right? I feel like it's crazy that NASCAR doesn't at least give them 30 minutes because of the fact that there's still 3 guys who aren't locked into the chase. And we're going in there with a huge unknown, and it's just all right, hope you guys are good because this is what we're doing.
This smells like a Ryan Preece flip from first place type of race. You know what I mean? Honestly.
Oh, dude, someone's flipping. Someone's finishing upside down on fire.
Well, this is shaping up to be like, you know how we explained that Bubba Wallace is almost impossible to like miss the playoffs. This is the type of situation where Ryan Preece actually does have the fastest lap, wins the first two stages, comes off turn 4 with the lead, and Bubba wrecked out like lap 3 or something like that, and then like Ryan Preece like Elliott Sadler's across the fucking infield and just flips and just destroys everything.
Yeah, this race is gonna be pandemonium. It's gonna be crazy. Like we don't know where we're getting into. It's not the win and in system, thank God. But I don't know what to
No.
expect. I don't think the drivers know what to expect. It's gonna be crazy. I'm looking forward to it. Don't know if I'm gonna be able to catch all of it. Like I said, I'm here in Concord, right across the road from Charlotte Motor Speedway at Mustang Week. But hopefully it's a good race. Hopefully I'm able to watch it. But
Honestly,
Guys,
Aiden's the only one that can honestly watch it because I'm gonna be obviously busy during the race as well. Hopefully, I can catch the end.
I can't wait to like text you guys how like this is the most insane and absolutely amazing race I've ever witnessed in my life, and you guys just aren't going to be able to see it. I'm going to witness the sport ender. I'm going to witness the wreck that ends the sport, and you guys are not going to see it live, unfortunately.
Yeah, like it's going to be one barn burner of a race. It's going to be awesome, but we won't be able to watch it.
The only way that happens is if it's like an NR 2003 type wreck where like they just flip in the air and it goes like 80 feet in the air or something like that.
Yeah, that's going to happen. NASCAR's going to break physics this week, and neither of y'all are going to watch it.
Or like 2015, that wreck at Daytona.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that was probably the last close sport ender we had. No, actually, I take that back.
Crazy.
Well, I say that unironically. That probably would have been the sport ender if Austin Dillon's car went into the stands that day. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
that probably would have shut down NASCAR for years.
For a good little bit, yeah. But anyway, we gave us our predictions. Now let's get into the nitty gritty here. Zachary, random driver here. Guess the driver. Who do we got this time?
Honestly, it's probably pretty tough. Honestly, just because there's not a whole lot of things about him, and he is kind of well known. He is modern, but the problem is that he didn't do a whole lot in his racing career. You know what I mean? That's why. But hopefully you guys know him because you should. Because there are a couple clues in here that I feel like give it away a little bit.
No, that's not a guess. That's not a guess.
Aiden, put the phone away.
My phone's away. Here. It's still the Ryan Blaney background.
Mine is over here. I'm throwing it over there.
Yeah, here, watch.
Yeah, you want to know?
We heard it. Okay.
Y'all want to know something is that I got like 6 clues. That's all I got.
I want to know how I got these scars. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
I got like 6 clues, honestly. On
all right, let's go.
That's how much, is known about this guy. All right. So start off again. Some of these I'm not going to be able to do because Aiden might know it right away, but this guy was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay. It's not Johnny Benson.
Yeah, it's not. He started driving later than usual for a NASCAR career, honestly. He started in 93, and he was already like 38 years old at this point. Started in NARCA. He actually didn't make it to all 3 NASCAR's top series. However, he never did run a full season each of those series. So he only has like about average roughly 18 races in every single top series. That's it.
Damn.
BJ McLeod.
No.
Okay.
He has a whopping 0 top 10s and 0 poles or 0 wins, obviously. So he didn't do a whole lot in his racing career, honestly. But this is the part that is most key and familiar with him, okay? The reason why he started so late is because he got most of his career and started out his career as a crew chief. Lots and lots of wins, okay? And 4 championships in a 5-year period.
Wow, we should definitely know who this is. We should definitely know who this is, Aiden.
He was a part of the 2023 NASCAR Hall of Fame class.
Richard
Yeah.
Childress.
And that's the clues.
No.
Richard Childress.
No.
No.
Okay.
No. Oh, who is this?
4 out of 5 championships.
Four championships in 5 years.
If you gave us a year, would it give it away?
Probably.
Could you give us a time span? It's in this decade.
Yeah, it's in the 90s. It's with Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, it is. It's not.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not Larry McReynolds.
No,
No.
definitely not Larry. Who was his crew chief before Larry? Oh
No,
my
it's
goodness!
got to be after him.
You think it's after him?
Yeah, has to be, right? When Larry
No,
was like the 80s and no. Okay, it
no.
had
Nope.
to be before him.
Larry was his last crew chief. No,
you're right.
No. He was the crew chief for the Daytona 500 win.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is definitely before
Yep.
Dale.
Larry. Oh my God, who is this? Could you give us a letter?
Starts with a K.
K.
Yep. 46 wins and 4 championships.
What the? Who is it? Oh
No,
my
no.
God!
No, you
I
already
could
got
see
it.
his face. I could see his face. He was in the Dale Earnhardt documentary.
Yep.
Oh my God, Kirk Shelmerdine.
Yep.
No.
Were you gonna get that, Aiden, at all or not?
No, I wasn't going to get
No?
that.
I
I'm
figured
not a crew chief person.
honestly, the only reason why obviously I did him was because he actually did run some starts in all 3 of NASCAR series. If he just was a crew chief, obviously I wouldn't have done it. But since he did drive, and I figured being a crew chief for Dale Earnhardt has its perks, especially in the early 90s.
Mhm.
So I figured, yeah, I'm gonna give him a shout out.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Kirk Shelmerdine, you made my list.
That's a good one for sure. I highly suggest a couple. I want to see he was there last year, or the year before. He was on Dale Jr. Download, and he was a really good episode. If you guys have not listened to it, I highly suggest. He knew Dale very well, obviously, so there's a good story to hear. A lot of stories and all that. And then he did a great job in the Dale documentary. A lot of firsthand experience with him. So, yeah, great pick. Great pick, Zachary. Anything you guys would like to add before we finish the show and go on out of here?
Have you guys seen I guess it's a 3-part series, NASCAR Americana?
I have not. I've been meaning
Not
to, but
yet.
I haven't.
Not yet.
I think it's on the YouTube of like USA Network or something. But I ended up watching all 3 parts. Ryan Blaney obviously is in a fair amount of them. Great series, honestly. Again, telling the roots of NASCAR and just the bloodline that is NASCAR and America together. Great series, and I recommend it to anybody that wants to watch it because it definitely is a good watch.
Thank you, Zachary. I'll definitely have to take a look at that. I've been meaning to. I know they keep playing it right after the race. Usually, right after the race, I'm tired. So at that point, I'm done for the day. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in for another episode of Moonshiners Racing presented by Deep Road Street Sports. Make sure you tune into our other shows. We have our football show, Quarter Blitz, every Tuesday. Yesterday, the guys had the show. We talked about fantasy football. Sadly, I couldn't make it. We previewed all the divisions next week. It's the last week before the start of the season. Really looking forward to it. Same time as this show. If you can't tune into it, you watch this one instead. Make sure you go back and listen. It's the college football show. Sounds like 6. They previewed all the different conferences, getting ready for the season. About to start week 0 here soon, shortly. Go Buckeyes. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you come back again next week. We're going to wrap up Daytona and the regular season for you guys and then get you all ready for the chase. I'm your host, Michael Rizzo, joined with Zachary Kendall and Aiden Fortney. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.